In applied behavior analysis, we never start a session by guessing. Every minute of therapy must be intentional and aligned with the client's treatment plan. Your commitment to reviewing documents before the session is a core ethical and professional responsibility. It ensures consistency across all RBTs and sessions and prevents you from running outdated programs and allows you to anticipate the client's needs based on their performance yesterday. The golden rule you want to remember is you must deliver services exactly as written by the BCBA. And reviewing documentation is the only way to guarantee this. And so, what should you be reviewing before every session? There are kind of four main areas here that you're going to want to check before greeting a client and starting work. The first one is the Behavior Intervention Plan, the BIP. And so the Behavior Intervention Plan, this is the document where it's going to list the programs, the medical background, all the information related to the client. But there's kind of two big areas you always want to be double checking on. The first one is safety. You will always want to kind of go back and quickly reread the safety and crisis response procedures. Critical behaviors, safety behaviors, they can occur at any time, right? And so it's always important to be prepared to respond to those challenging behaviors correctly and safely. So you always want to go back and see if anything's been updated and that you're working on the most current and accurate information. The second thing is check for reinforcer changes. Has the BCBA updated the list of preferred items or activities? You want to know what the client is motivated by today. Again, the behavior intervention plan, it's a living document. It's always expected to be updated and adjusted as needed. And so it's important that you're changing it so you can be, or reading the changes so you can always be aware of what the most up-to-date information is. The second thing you're going to be looking for is skill acquisition programs. So with that, you're going to check for mastery. Did the client meet the mastery criterion for a target last session, right? And so this might be, he met 80% accuracy for 3 days. If a target is mastered, you don't run it typically, right? You're going to move on to that next target as written. Now, there are some certain softwares that will kind of automatically, and they'll kind of remove the adjustings as it goes. And so the BCBA won't have to do it on their end. That is going to be company specific. And so it's important that you kind of be familiar with your software. You talk to your BCBA, you talk to your administration to understand the platform that you're using. The second thing you're going to be looking for skill acquisition is any kind of updates. Maybe they've changed the SDs, they've updated materials, they've added new prompting levels, right? It could be that you're running the same program, but now you're running it in a different way. Maybe the BCBA has looked at it and noticed that the client's not making progress as kind of desired or on track as they should be. So they're adjusting things. And so your responsibility is just to be aware of those adjustments and be aware of any updates. The third thing you want to look at is session notes and data, right? And so you want to review the RBT session notes and the actual data graphs or data sheets from the last 1 or 2 sessions. And this is really important. So the first thing you're going to be looking for is any sudden or unusual drops in skill performances or spikes in challenging behaviors. This prepares you for the session ahead. So by kind of looking at the previous data, it's going to tell you what progress has been made on what programs, what prompt levels have been looking like. It's always important to look at the previous session data to determine what is going to be worked on for your session. Some people work with the same clients every day. Others rotate. Keeping a log with the general client information regarding how the session went, prompt levels, etc., can help the next RBT or yourself for that next session. And so you always want to be making sure that you're looking at how the previous situations are going so that you can do your job and make the adjustments as needed. The second thing you're going to be looking at is kind of context checks, right? So read the prior RBT's notes and be looking for any kind of particular context that might be, important for your session. So an example of this could be client was very tired due to a late night. He had a high physical prompt need for all targets. Knowing that he's very tired and knowing that he needed more physical prompts, this context help you adjust your pace and set the appropriate expectations for the start of your session. And the last thing is preparing a checklist. Based on your review, ensure you have materials ready. Right? Do you have your visual supports? Are the client's visual schedule, communication devices, or token boards, are they charged? Are they available? If you lost a PEX, a PEX key, did you find a new one? Were you able to replace that, right? And the materials, if you're working on a sorting silverware program, are the forks, spoons, and knives ready? If the target is a math worksheet, is it printed and is the calculator handy, right? You want to make sure you have all your materials before the session starts so you can have a very smooth and successful session.